what your why statement, what it is you do, why you do what you do, and work on getting that kind of clarified. I know Michelle put hers up there and I shared mine. We get some of it out there, start thinking through this process of where you guys are at so you can start working on your speech, your way to communicate who you are and what you do, and to separate yourself from everyone else and connect with people. That's the biggest thing, is how we're going to connect with people and how do we build our tribe of loyal raving fans so that we can continue to market to this group that's going to fall in the line of how to build a referral based business. So the reason I wanted to get you guys down that path is there's 3 steps to building brand awareness that we're going to talk about today. First step is you need to be heard. The second step is you've got to be noticed. And the ultimate final step is you will be known. So the first thing is right now is I want you guys to kind of spend a little time thinking, where am I at in being heard in what it is I do and why I do it? Do people all around me, do the people that I'm expecting to get business from, the people in my area, the people in my tribe, the people in my sphere of influence, my family, everyone, have they heard me? Or do they just know that I have a real estate license? Are they hearing me? Am I connecting with them? Being heard is the biggest part in getting going on, is they've got to hear you. Then you're just going to become noticed. They're going to notice you. You're going to be like, oh, there's James. He's the realtor. I see his stuff. I know him. He's talked about things. I see a sign. They get all these kind of things. You're noticed. And then you just become known as the realtor of choice or the brand. So think about that through brands and things that you know and that you spend time with and you purchase. Look at Coca-Cola. They're heard in what they do. Then you notice that their bottles are around, and then you just know when you think of a soda of some sort, Coke is probably the first one that pops in your head, whether you like it or not. That's the one that pops in your head. They own mind share because of being heard, being noticed, and now they're known in that marketplace. McDonald's is the same way. If you're interested in a new car right now and you just like, oh, I just saw a white Jeep. I want a white Jeep. All of a sudden you're going to start seeing it everywhere. And you're going to think, oh, everybody's driving these white Jeeps. They were there all the time, but it wasn't being heard. And then you notice it, and then you are known. That's the kind of process that we want to go through, is where are you at in your being heard, being noticed, and being known process. And today, with what we're going to talk about and what we do with using social media and using all the tools that are available to us to get our message out, you can quickly take people through the process of you being heard, to being noticed, to being known, because they can consume your content. They can get a lot of stuff from you and they can force it and just go crazy. It's kind of like it's Netflix. It's like binge watching. If you're going to take someone to watch an episode of your show over 4 months, and they got to watch one episode every week, like we used to watch in TV, it takes them a while to become raving fans. But if they can binge watch that whole season in 8 hours, they move from being heard to being noticed to being known, and they're a raving fan fast. That's what we're looking to do in the way we've got to do our content, is get enough out there so that people can follow you and be heard, being noticed, and being known. So the next thing is, that I want you to be thinking about is the 10% rule. Based on the total number of people that are in your sphere, your database, your Facebook following, people that are in your address book on your phone, people you mail to, the size of your tribe, know that roughly 10% of that group size is what you're going to net out of there in transactions if you go through being heard, being noticed, and being known with that group. Because it's a 10% rule. So, like I talked to Michelle earlier today, and her transaction total for 2021 is 30. So you need to have roughly 300 people that you're communicating, being heard, being noticed, and being known with, and getting mind share to make that happen. And we're going to talk about how you place all these people in just a little bit, and who you spend time with, and what you're looking for, and how you're going to categorize these people to make that happen. But we're taking everyone that we know through being heard, being noticed, and being known is the foundation piece that we're going through. So we're going to be looking at that. So what I want you to do right now is, this is a lot of like this session that we're going to talk about. We're going to get a little more clarity on Friday with it. But this is really just about stretching your mind and getting you to think about. So I'm going to hit you with a lot of things about people and what we're looking for. And then after this call, I'm going to send you what I call the memory jogger, and a couple things that we're going to get you through to do some exercises. And then Friday, we're going to spend some more time digging in a little bit deeper about your actual plan of attack. So right now, take everybody that you know, everybody that you've met, everybody that you give business to, everyone that you write a check to, everyone that's in your world, sports, things that your kids are involved in, groups that you are, and just grab everyone you possibly can grab and just start putting them together in a list. And make this list as big as possible. And don't beat yourself up if you think you have a small list. Just get clear with the list that you have. Because I guarantee that we all know somewhere in the range of about 100 people before you even started thinking about expanding your group. So you got people to market to. So get that list. Begin with your holiday list. Who do you mail Christmas cards to? Who would you invite to big events in your family, a wedding, a graduation, or things like that? Go through and start figuring out who you would invite. Start really gathering these people. I'd like you to have a goal of getting 220 people on that list. And remember, I said it's a goal. It's not a must-have. Get clear with what you have, and then we can figure out a path to get you to where you need to be. So just get clear with what you have. But have a goal of having 2,000 people on that, and have a second goal of building your Facebook friends group to 5,000 people as fast as you can. Now, there's a caveat with that. I want you to build 5,000 people that are connected, that understand you, and that hear you, notice you, and know you. So I don't want you to just go friend request 5,000 people and just be into there, but be focused constantly on providing content, connecting with new people, building a relationship with them, and get that number up as many as you can. I want you to still have the same goal with your Facebook and your Instagram and all these platforms you can pull people into, same way you would in a database that you're going to mail to and connect with. It's about connections. It's about being social. It's about being heard, being noticed, and being known, and building a relationship. So I have that kind of thing. So I want you to divide those groups. When we start looking at your Facebook groups and we look at your 220 people that are going to be in your mailing list minimum, I want you to divide them into 4 categories. First category are your raving fans club. Those are people that are going to give you business automatically. These are the people I like to look at that I know are going to give me headlock referrals, and that I can count on that group to give me 1 transaction every year. Okay. So if your goal right now is like Michelle has a goal of 30, I like to look at that going, how do I build my raving fans club to a group that was going to give me 30 transactions or get me close to that? My goal is 22 in that group because I know I can spend a lot of time with 22 people, and 22 transactions at my average sale price nets me in the six figures that I want to make from my real estate business. So I look at that. So that's how I want you to gauge those type of people. Identify what you classify as the core values, because we talked about your core values. Remember, we're building that in your brand. So think about the core values of how people win with you and how they lose with you, and what does that person look like that generates and fits into that category, and how do you show up in their life the same way you're expecting them to show up in yours? So those are your raving fans. That's the most important group. That's the group that I give 80% of my time to. That is my raving fan group. Those are people that I will spend more time with. Second group that I want you to be looking at are people that most likely will give you business if you ask. So they're close to raving fans. They support you, they're with you, they're great people, but they're not people you can count on unless you go ask them. That's your B group. So you may have people in that group that are going to make up your growth rate. You may look at that group going, if I just spend a little more time asking them and I spend a little more time developing that relationship, I can get some more things out of them. So, if we go back into using Michelle's category of looking at 30 transactions, and then we use my thing about my raving fans of 22, I would be looking at that going, okay, I need to get 8 transactions or more from my B group. Those are my future raving fans, because some of your raving fans are going to fall out. Things are going to happen. They're going to move. They may move out of state. And even though they're a raving fan, they're not someone that's in your marketplace that can really help you with what you need at the level you need it. But they're still going to be a raving fan type of person. Do you know what I mean? So you're always looking at top grading. You're always building relationships because life happens. And those people are coming down your funnel. The third type of group are people that are on your list that might send you business every year, but will send you business over a period of time. So these are the people that fit into the category. We know that through NAR and all the stats that have been done over the years, we know that on average, people buy or sell or make a move every 7 years. So your C group are your average group of people. You may get a deal from them this year, and you may not hear or spend much time or even talk to them, even though you've put out communication, you're staying in front of them, you've called them to check up on them, you've done these few things, that you really haven't gotten to a strong conversation with them over years of time. But you're heard, they've noticed you, and they know you, but they just don't always think of you at that highest level. So just to kind of break through some of those numbers, guys, I have about 200 and right now I'm at like 230 people or so that fit into my database. I've been in the business 22 years. 22 keeps showing up in my life, and you'll keep hearing about me say it. So it's my number. It's my wife's birthday is on the 22nd. My son's birthday is on the 22nd. My daughter's birthday is on the 22nd. Been married 22 years. I do on average 22 transactions. This number just keeps popping in, and there's a reason for it. So I just keep rolling with it. And as I go dig and get deeper, I still find that number popping up all the time in my world. So you have something that's right in front of you that is showing up all the time, lean into it. So anyways, I have 22 people in my core raving fan group. I have the goal of 44 people in my second group. Though that number changes consistently. Sometimes I'm at 40, sometimes I'm at 46. Some, because those people are moving and you're developing relationships and things happen. And then in my third group, the people that I get business from over time, there's 154 people in that group. Everyone else falls into my developing relationship business base. And that group is like what I would classify as a farm. I have over 220 people in that group. There's people, I think I have like 400 in one mailing list that I do. I've got about 1,000 people on Facebook that are people I've known through school or events and things like that. I'm just developing and building. That's like my farm group. That group I know that has basically about a 50-to-1 return on it because I'm taking that group through being heard, being noticed, being known in a different way. And it just takes longer. It takes more of them to get you that kind of business. So break your database into those 4 groups. The 3 groups is what I spend my time with. The majority of my time goes into my A group. My B group gets my second most time. And then the least amount of time of those 3 groups goes to my C group. But I touch them all. And we'll talk about how to touch them and how to communicate with that in a little bit. But that's why I want you to break your business down is go spend time. If I told you that you needed 30 people, Steve's not on this call, but I keep telling him about a month ago, he was 3 people away from changing his world. He's 1 person away now from the business that he's grown. It's easy to go out and find people. It's not that easy to go find a listing or a buyer at the time. But if you go find the people and you develop that relationship with them, that is something you can go do. And you can actually find them because you know these people. You just haven't built a relationship with them. So that's kind of the task that we're going on. So that's the key. That's, I kind of hit you with a lot with being heard, being noticed, being known, hit you with database size, hit you with kind of where to look at and how this business can kind of filter into it. And we're about 20 minutes in. So I threw up a lot with the fire hose out here pretty quickly. We're not done by any means, but I want to see at that particular point, what questions you have before I go rallying with the next one. Where are you guys at? What questions do you have with what I just hit? Anyone? All right, we're all good. So we're ready to take the next step. Okay, so now it's how do we make this work for us? All right, so you've got to build respect with them. You got to do that over a series of conversations over time of becoming an expert salesperson, building your skill level, building your knowledge, building your service, building your experience. And it really boils down to the one piece is having excellent confidence in your communication to them. And start off with just you got to be heard, guys. So the first piece you got to do is go out and tell your story. Make sure everyone knows, these groups, this 22, the 44, the 154 people, whatever, they've got to hear your story. They've got to know why you do this. They got to know what you do. They got to know what's unique about you. And they need to know that you need help. So go tell your story. And as you do that over time, you start building the relationship. This isn't something that's going to start and flip the switch and all of a sudden you've got it there, but it's a key piece to building a referral-based business. And I was talking to Michelle before this call on some things, and I had someone call me earlier this week and interviewing me on some stuff, and they asked me about my business and where I get it from. And they're like, how much of your business comes from referral? And I said, 100%. And they're like, how many listing appointments do you go on versus the ones you get? I'm like, 100%. And I said, but I want you to know that me answering that way isn't that I am some whiz. I am not some master script guy. I don't go in and have the best presentation and I can win this over and do that. I said, what I do is I do a lot of work on the back end. I set that appointment. That appointment is teed up so that when I get there, I take it, because they wouldn't think of doing business with anyone but me. So there's a different type of work that goes in to make that happen versus sitting and picking up the phone and making 50 dials to make 20 contacts with expired listings and set appointments and know that I've got to set 3 appointments to get 1 listing, and and I'm just mashing through those people. It's a different type of setup. I enjoy the relationship setup. I don't enjoy the rejection setup. I can do it and I have done it, but I can't consistently do it and keep my energy high. This way that I'm doing it, I can consistently do it because, like I've said to you guys, we're all consistent at something and consistency wins. Unfortunately, the majority of us at our points in our career are consistently doing the things that aren't going to lead us to success. And we need to make that shift and that pivot to get over to the things that are going to lead us to success, and doing that consistently, because consistency always wins and consistency shows up. Right now, we're getting into the fact that we're going to shift our mindset consistently into a powerful mindset that's going to help us be clear in our goals, believe in ourselves, have the confidence to go out and do what we need to do, and communicate with people. That's the first piece. And as we do that, we're going to keep building that confidence and keep going on and building consistency with our stuff. So now we're going to see that growth come along. Okay. So, this is like what we talked about, and then I want you to get clear with, define in detail what it is you do. Get in detail with it. We talked about this, but get it out there. And I know it's early, and I know you're overwhelmed with it, but keep pushing yourself, keep sharing it, keep stretching your mind into there, and take what you're at and start talking about it, and know that you're going to continue to refine it. Don't wait till it's perfect. It'll get perfect through communication with it. You'll get clarity with it as you talk about it more. But if you're the only one who knows, you're the only one you can do business with. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not going to make money doing that. I need to go out and communicate and help other people. So get clear with it. Your people, your groups, your center of influence that we talked about in those 3 groups, they need to think that this person is the best. How do they know I'm the best? They know I'm the best because I'm in relationship with them. I communicate with them. I give them value. I give more than I ask. If your only communication with them is asking for business, you're going to lose in the long run with your relationship. If you give them something and you program them that you live and your family does all the, does what it does because of your business, and you live on referrals and you help people, they will give you referrals. So build credibility, get them to know you. How many of you have a side to yourself that only you know. Come on, I'm not the only one. How many of you act differently when you get around people in your business sense? Because you feel that that's the way that I'm supposed to act. We've all done it. Come on, throw it up there. Everyone. What happens when you just get around a group of friends and you sit on your couch and you just be you. You let it fly. You let your worries go out. You just have fun, right? Can you do that with people and make money? That's what we're after in this. Have the ability to be you and connect with people like you and let them, bless you, James, and let them see you and get to see the real them in the process. Your whole world will change when you do that. If you can show up at listing appointments and a hat and a t-shirt coming from a soccer field and they understand that you were there, you just were at your kid's game and you're meeting with them, you sit and you have them and you be you, that's the type of client you want. Be you. And the only way to be you is to go be heard, be noticed, and then be known. And have the courage to go out there and be you. Everyone in your group that you're going to start writing down these things and looking for, they want to know why you're doing what you're doing, what makes you unique, why did you choose this, how do you help people. They want to know what you do for fun. They want to know what you do and how you keep smile on your face. All these, they want to know. We're in that type of world today, guys. We watch reality shows. We want to see what's going on behind the scenes. We're curious. Give them a peek behind the curtain. Then they'll give you business. And what's really cool about it is they don't really give you business. They don't feel that they are. They feel that they're connecting people that are like you with you. So you become known as a connector. I wish Steve was on this call because he has a cool saying. Anyone ever seen the Lethal Weapon movies? I know they're dating some people. There's a character in there, Leo Getz. And his whole thing is, whatever you want, I'll get, kind of thing. Well, Steve uses that statement in a lot of what he says. He's like, I'm like Leo Getz. So whatever people want, I help them get it. And I'm like, you got to lean into that and use that statement more. I mean, that's the key thing is people, if they need something, you want to build those relationships. So they call you and you help them get what they want. Oh, and by the way, you sell real estate. They'll call you if they need to get landscaping or tile work or a furnace or windows or window washer or house cleaner, investment guy or anything like, get them to know that they can call you. How many people, I'm sidetracking this, but it does have a point, so it's worth it. How many people have been asked to be in some sort of BNI group? Everyone probably. It's a business networking group where you get together in the mornings and it's all about building referrals and getting things through there. What if you were a BNI group? And think about this. How many people do you know right now as you're going through this memory jogger that I gave you? How many people do you know that are business owners? That own a restaurant, own a liquor store, have or the mortgage reps or investments, an attorney, plumber, an electrician. Go through and look at that. You have your own BNI group. Communicate with them. Own it. Be the leader of that group. Be the connector. Have your own business P&I group within your sphere. If you had a goal of, I need to get 22 people of raving fans, of business owners, of people I know, plus 22 raving fans of other people, that's 44 people that you would get probably 44 transactions. If you spent all your time doing that, that's sustainable. That's relationship business. I want you to be looking every day when you wake up going, is what I'm doing transactional or is what am I doing relational? If it's transactional, you've got to go hunt every day for the kill. And so I've been in that boat. And when you hunt for the kill, you don't get to eat and enjoy all your meat because you're off to the next kill. When you're in it for the relationship, that is the fruit of your labor that keeps paying you. So when you went through your business plan and you started thinking about this, and I know a lot of you went through the same thing that I went through at one point in my career. You start going through that number and you start going, I don't know how many contacts I made. I don't know how many appointments I need to go on. And it gets overwhelming. And you stop there. All you know is what you want to make and you freak out. The missing piece is the strength of your relationships. It's that simple. There's no magic pill. There's no secret script to go out and say. It's the strength of your relationship. Be heard, be noticed, be known. You can control that. Because you're controlling at this point. You're controlling who in your world knows you and who doesn't. They're not controlling it. You are. So stop it. Okay, so here's the formula. Those three groups of people, I run through this formula. And it's called do the 22. That's the way I call it. Again, keep showing up in my world. It's my favorite place on earth that I go to is if you're in Michigan or if you're not in Michigan, you ever get up here, go to the Leelanau Peninsula, Traverse City area, the most beautiful place on the planet. Lived in Bear Dunes. M22 is the road that runs through there, and been going there ever since I was a kid. That's what's behind me here. It's Glen Lake and Glen Arbor. So that's where I go all the time. Love it. So mine, again, 22 shows up. So here's my 22 touches per year. This is where it gets creepy, guys. I didn't know I was doing 22 touches until I went through and did the math 5 years ago, and it was 22 times that I was doing this. Okay, first piece. I put out one mailer every year that worked for me. That was a Christmas, holiday, New Year's kind of thing, kind of mixed in together. And it would be about, I hope you had a great holiday season, wishing them a new year. I didn't send it in early December or mid-December. They got it in early January. Because I don't know about you, but when you get Christmas cards and holiday cards, they just go in a huge stack. And then all of a sudden Christmas is over and you don't get mail. That's when I wanted to come in. Because then I wasn't getting lost in the stack. I was getting into that growth mindset. You hit that people in the end of December, as January starting, they're thinking bigger at that point than they usually ever think in any part of the year. I want to get into that mindset. Second piece, that's one. Second piece is there's three pieces that would go out. And again, this worked for me. You find a way to adapt it to yourself. 3 pieces of value that would go out to my tribe every year, and they were sports magnets. I still send them out to this day. They just got my business card on it. It's got the sports. It's got my local sports that I'm into. I send a schedule out for baseball. I send a schedule out for football, which has both the Detroit Lions and then has Michigan and Michigan State on it. And then I would send out a calendar that would have the Red Wings and the Pistons schedule on it. So there's 3 of them. I'm a sports guy. People connect with it. People look for it. They want their schedule, and I know that they keep it on their keep it on their fridge. They look at it because they want to see when games are and things like that. That works for me. So think of 3 pieces of value you can go out that you know that their eyes will get on consistently and get consistent with it. The other piece, so now we're in, that's equals 4. Next piece is I'd have 8 mailings. Yes, mailings where you fold them up and put a stamp on it and put it in the mailbox. 8 mailings a year that was just built as a reminder, just to stay in front of them, to keep reminding them what I do, why I do it. Oh, and I love referrals. And in there, every piece would have a little bit different. Some would be a market stat, market trend, some would be something, but there'd be 8. And the reason there's 8 is every 6 weeks, another mailing would go out. So it just got me into a consistency. And then the final piece is there are 10 phone calls / text messages / social media direct messages with that group a year minimum. So I would break that down that I would do 10 of those a day, basically, is what it came out to for mine. But each person got contacted 10 times throughout the year. So now when I know my formula, now I build that into my daily routine with what my database is. So as I told you before, I had roughly around 220 people. So I knew that's 10 a year that I've got to do out of 220, 2,200 phone calls that I need to make. Divide that by 12. It's basically round it all up, roughly about 200 calls a month. Divide that by 20, it'd be 20. So I just do my math by going backwards into what I needed to do to make that 10 happen. But you notice in there, I said phone calls, text messages, social media direct messages. Those are all the same today, guys. You don't have to always pick up the phone and call people. I can send out direct messages on Facebook, and that's a communication. That's a relationship building thing. They may get to that at lunch. They may get to it later in the night, but it starts a 2-way conversation. I just have to get it started. Text messages. People will put their phone, especially after these last few months of political calls, they'll hit every phone call that comes in to go to their voicemail. But if a text message comes through, they start communicating with you. You just want communication. So don't get yourself overwhelmed by it. So if your communication is broken down or it's deteriorated, understand that it's normal. That's normal. We have that in our lives. We have people that drift away. They do. You just have to make the conscious effort to restart it. They're waiting for you, or their life has gotten busy and they forgot as well, or something. But get back into it. make that conscious effort. It's normal. So pick up the phone, call them, send them a text message. That was my biggest push during our shutdown. Michelle heard it from me all the time. Well, we were on house arrest and now stuck in our homes for 60 days. I was like, this is our time to lean in and to build awareness, build our following. And the agents that jumped in and did that and got busy, they came flying out of the gates because there was pent up demand. Everyone was captive. Everyone wanted to talk. Everyone wanted communication, but we were stuck in our house. So there's no more keep getting voicemail and no more of this. Go out and talk to people, build extra content, give them a reason to do it. That's what we have to start building and ramping on now. Just pick up the phone and call them. Just know that when it deteriorates, it's normal. Now it's a choice you make to go fix it. So give them a call sometimes and just apologize. Text them. Hey, I've been thinking about you. It's been a long time since we talked. I hope everything's going great. I'd love to catch up. And start catching up. And then they're going to want to know what's going on in your life. You find out what's going on in theirs. And then you wrap up the call with, hey, just before we get off the call, Anna, just want to remind you, I'm still selling real estate. Really enjoy what I'm doing. Been a great year. As you know, I build my business referral only. And I'd like to know, who that I could get in a close relationship with. And, you can always come from contribution as you start building that. But it starts with just being human and having a conversation. Next piece is be very specific at times with them. Don't be specific through the whole call and be scripted, but when you're asking for something, be specific after you've built the relationship. You don't get what you don't ask for. So be specific at times. Tell them why you need it sometimes. And focus on always bringing value to the conversation. So when you get off the phone or you get off the text message or you end it, ask yourself, did I make an impact on them? Was that a powerful conversation? What could I have done? What could I change? And then go at it on the next one to get better. Don't deflate yourself because it wasn't as powerful as you think. Work on getting it better. Sometimes you catch people at a wrong moment. Sometimes you're in a wrong moment. Sometimes you feel better after the phone call than you did at the beginning of the phone call. That's being human. Don't beat yourself up. Just make a difference in people's lives and share your story. So I'm going to send you guys part of your homework is I'm going to post it in our Facebook group, the memory jogger, so you can download it and pull that out of there. It'll also be in our Kajabi site over the next few days to get that there. But start identifying as many people as you can for your target, your tribe, whatever you want to call your gang. Start identifying as many people as you can. And if you have if you have a number of, say you have a number of 600 people. Well, I can't bet on a number, but just say you have 600 people. Start going through that group and identifying who your raving fans are, who your B group is, who your C, and then who you really is more of a farm type of group. So you may find out that of the 600 people, you just need to categorize how you're going to communicate with them. You still maybe have 20 raving fans or 10 raving fans. You may have 30 people that are in your B group and you have space for more, all this. And you may find yourself, well, I've got like 400 people that are really just like a farm group. So that all your success lies in building relationship with those 600 people. You just got to go find your raving fans in that group. That's the way I want you looking at this. Just going on. You don't need thousands of people to be your raving fans. You just need thousands of people that you can communicate with to build that small group, and then lean into that small group. We don't have the scope to build strong relationships with thousands of people. All of that, we can only build it with a small number of people, because we only want to hang with so many people. We only want so many people in our life, because we can't be who we are to a bigger group. So you heard me say like a couple weeks ago that I focus on going smaller in order to go bigger. Subtraction leads to multiplication. And I look at that in lots of things in my life. I look at it from my relationships. I look at it from time that I'm wasting and doing. Am I putting more time into things than I should? When I subtract that and I open up my time, it leads me into and I hold myself accountable to that time. It leads me to a multiplication effort, because now I'm more focused. If people are if I'm hanging around people that are changing me into being somewhere that I don't want to be, and it's taking energy away, when I subtract that, it leads me into multiplication. So sometimes you got to go smaller in order to go bigger. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. You heard me say it in the very first call. It's not about the money we make, it's what we do with it. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. It's the same with the people that we're looking to build in your database. It's not about the number, it's about how strong they are. And what I've found over 22 years is people that are like yourselves on this call, and then the ones that are watching this recording later, the biggest problem we have right now is we're focused too much on the quantity. We're not focused on the quality. We either look at it going, I don't have that many people in my database, so I don't market to them. Or you say, I have a lot of people and I haven't really stayed up with them. So the quantity and the quality is always out of whack. I know lots of agents that have small numbers of database that have a strong relationship with them that outperform the people that know 2,000 people, because they know them, but those people don't know really what they do. That small group does. Like, I've been in business 22 years. I only really market to 230 people. I can market to more. I could go out and buy a list and mail and do, but I like the relationship side. I'm not better than anyone else. It just works for me, and it's sustainable. There's a lot of ways you can do this business. I look at it doing in a way that fits into my strengths, fits into my momentum, builds my happiness, builds the life I want, and I can sustain and consistently do it. So that's why I share this with you guys. So work on that. Work on sending out an announcement, a getting to know, cracking the seal with these people, getting your story out there, starting the whole journey with a minimum of 66 people in your database before the next call. Doesn't have to be a formal mailing. It can be a text message, can be a phone call with 66 people, can be a mailing of some sort, but just get in touch with 66 people and make an announcement, make a stand, get your story out, do that kind of thing, because that will start the whole revolution into it. You'll build energy off of people starting to communicate with you. Also, if you have a database, you've been in the business for a while, I told you last week, I have a Reconnect letter, which will go into the Kajabi site that I'll get to you, that I got from someone, it was probably 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And then I adapted and changed it a little bit. And it's basically me making an apology for not communicating with them, telling them I have systems in place. It won't happen again. Talking about how I'd love for them to call me when they need things, kind of, it takes them down that path. And I'll get that to you, and you can just tweak it and kind of personalize it and make it your own. But it starts that whole thing. Don't just start putting your people through the 22 that I said without making a stand. Make an announcement. Get them on board that, hey, something new is coming. Hey, this is why I'm getting this. Because if they haven't heard from you in a while, or if you've been in the business a year or two, but you've never really made an announcement, and then they start getting things from you, they're just gonna go, what the heck is this? Yeah, so start it with a piece that is going to be an announcement. This is going to be you drawing a line in the sand. From this point forward, this is what you can expect. And you may have some of those people that'll drop out of your world because they don't want you to communicate with them. Get over it. Let's move on. Because if they get out of your world because of getting a mail or a phone call or a text, they were never really in your world. Just move on. And they just opened up space for someone else that you can help. So do that. So those two things. And then the next piece is add this to your reading list. Every week, I'm going to add a book to your reading list, guys. So when you're done, you're going to have a pile of books that are going to be in your reading list. Some of you are going to get to them, some of you are not. These are all books that have had an impact or an influence on me over time. I didn't read these books over a 10-week period, so I'm not expecting you to do it either. Just add these to your list. And some of you may have read this book. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a great book. It's a quick read. To add that to your reading list, because it'll be very important in getting that mindset about that, about how do I win people and influence people when we're focused on our database. So I've got about 5 minutes. Open it up for questions. I hit a lot with you guys, and we're gonna spend more time on this on Friday. But this was the stretch the mind part. Just look at the opportunity and what's sitting in front of us and where you're going to go. So what questions do you have? What clarity can I bring to this call?
Can you a little bit more how you're talking about reaching out to 66 people to make that announcement, so to speak? I'm sorry, I was taking a call doing something, so just a little bit about what you said. Can you clarify that a bit better?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm going to send you, you're going to get that Reconnect letter. That can help a little bit. But if you work on your why, your statement, your declaration of what you do, that is a piece to start communicating with. So if you just reached out to 66 people over this next week and just made an announcement of what you do, why you do it, how are they doing, kind of thing into there, or use the Reconnect letter with 66 people, that will start the process. And don't put too much stress, focus onto it. Like, I've got to make it perfect. I got to get this great. The whole idea is for you to build a relationship with 66 people over a week's time that you haven't built up to this point. So each call will probably, or each way of doing it, if you do it separately, will get a little bit stronger. It's just about getting into action with that group. You can perfect it and get better as you go. Don't worry about it, but just make sure you reach out and you make some sort of career announcement to 66.
So Mike, that's not necessarily our top 22 tribe, right?
No, I mean, they might be. They
Okay.
might, I mean, and I'll be honest with you, they probably are going to be, because you're probably going to go to the low hanging fruit. Like, that's what we do. We go to the ones that are easier to communicate with. So those, most likely those people that are easier for you to communicate with are people that are probably going to line into your top 22
Okay.
into there, and that's fine. I don't care who they are. I just want you to get in the habit of doing it. And as you do it 66 times, you're going to get really clear with it. You know, when we talk later on, as we get further into this about, you know, presentation skills and things, and I know some of you have this worry about, like, what do I say? What do I do? Am I good with this? You know, the confidence level. Just know that I think you have to do 100 presentations before you get really good at it. It doesn't mean you sucked 99 times. It's just that by the time you do it 100 times, you don't even think about it anymore. You just do it. It's ingrained in you. It's just part of your normal. That's how you make things your way. It just becomes part of your dialogue. It becomes part of who you are because you've done it so much that that's just the way you speak. So be okay, guys. It's okay to go out and struggle. Like, if you're gonna make a commitment that you're gonna call 66 people or text 66 people or direct message or whatever you're gonna do, just give yourself permission that, you know, the first 10 are probably gonna be a little rough. I may stumble when I talk on the call a little bit, but that's me being me, and it's gonna get better as I keep strengthening it. It's okay. Right now you're not communicating with them, so it can only get better. So don't overthink it, but you'll find your voice. I hope that helped, Michelle. I want you to find your voice. I want you to find your way to go through this. And that's why I've given you a little bits like that. It's just in 66 calls, you'll find your voice, you'll find your strength, and you'll build a relationship with the 22 and the things, and you start identifying some people. Who else has a question, clarity? I know there's got to be thoughts running through your head. There has to be. Okay. No one's got any thoughts? All right, I gotta put you all on the spot now. I know we got some people that aren't on the camera, so I know they're there. Just need 3 ahas before we go. 3 things that are impactful, or something that got you to get thinking a little differently, or something that made an impact on your day. What was it? 3, and then we're out of here.
Well, I'm a numbers person, and I have to be very, very specific and clear. We just had our call, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think with the Formula 22 that you just went over, breaking it down on, hey, I've got for example, my 8 mailers. I need to send something every 6 weeks. So then I can set that up in my calendar. Hey, here's a week before, get it prepped, get it going. This is when it's got to shoot out. So for me, getting specifically clear on what that timeline looks like is something that I need. Yep. So there's your one.
I'm glad. Thank you for sharing that. And a little side note on that, guys. Friday, I'm going to give you the second piece to our building referral-based business. I'm going to give you our daily formula, which is doing the 22 as well. And that daily formula is a Monday through Friday formula. So you'll get that piece on Friday. So I don't want to throw everything because you got right now. I just want you to focus on identifying the people. When we identify the people, now we can start communicating with them. Okay, that's 1 down. We need 2 more.
I'll say thinking about your mindset and really, like you said, the consistency is a key, but really consistently forcing myself to change how I think certain things, or certain, I don't want to say tasks, but certain things that I need to do every day to get the ball rolling has definitely made a big difference. And I agree with Michelle with the specific. It's kind of like, okay, there's all these pieces floating around, and you kind of bring it all together to a, all right, here, this is where you look at and start. And FYI, I'm not going to be on Friday's call because I'm taking my 91-year grandfather to Henry Museum for a surprise for his day.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I thought
That's
so.
good. That's good. Well,
He
don't worry
spent all
about Friday's
summer building
call.
me
It'll be
a
live on the
Taj
Facebook
Mahal for
group,
my
so you
chicks,
can
so it's a payback.
look that up. 91. Wow.
Pardon me?
91. That's awesome.
Yeah, 91. It's going to be 91 on the 7th. Yeah.
Wow.
And he
Oh,
built
that's cool.
a 10 by 16 chicken coop from the ground up with no prints all summer. Yeah. So I got no reason to be busy because he certainly isn't.
Okay, someone just texted in the group here to everyone. Who's 12486 on here? There's no name on here, so I don't know video.
That's me. It's Trisha.
Hey, Trisha.
How are you?
Hi. Aha, the amount of phone calls seems a little overwhelming. I do better talking to strangers than people I know.
You think that's strange?
I think you just, I mean, it's not really what I think, because
I just didn't know if anybody else
I think we spend,
had
no,
that
I think
same
we
issue.
spend too much time. The reason I'm answering the question this way, I'm sorry, is I think we spend too much time trying to not really let our feelings out and not really say what's holding us back because we're worried that people are going to think we're weird.
Right.
I think being aware that is something that's easier for you leads to questions. I would want to know, and I want you to ask yourself this, like, why do I feel more comfortable talking to people that I don't know than people I know? And I would push on it because I would think you're probably along the line of you really haven't built a relationship with people close to you to really share with what you do or what you know, and you're scared to go on. I'll start it now, most likely, because I've been there, and have to change the narrative. You know what I mean by that?
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
And I think you just, if you're better at talking to strangers, go build relationships with people you're not in relationship with, and move those strangers into people you know.
Okay, that's a good idea.
But I'm glad you
So
said
I
that.
didn't know if anybody had that issue other than me.
I think everybody has it to a little extent. I really do. I don't think we're all immune to it, and I don't think we're all alike in there. But I think we do it, and I think it's just a little bit is we're like, we feel weird going and having a conversation because I don't know how long you've been in the business, Trisha. I know it's been a decent amount of time, so you're probably like, how do I haven't talked to these people in X amount of years about this. How do I start doing that now?
Right.
Trisha, if it makes you feel any better, I have past clients that were family that it's.
Yeah, if anything goes wrong, all of a sudden it's your fault. I would rather do business with strangers.
Yeah, those situations, sometimes they seem like strangers.
Yeah, right.
Situation, I have a few of those, so I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It just
happens. Thank you. It does happen.
No, and that's why I want you to really be focused on the first half of what we talked about today, was relational versus transactional. Sometimes just because they're family or we know them doesn't mean we like them.
That's true.
I mean, I'm serious. There's people that are neighbors or people that we've known for years and we hang out with and do, but we do it because of proximity. We don't really do it because we like it. And that's okay. I've got family members that haven't done business with, and sometimes I think that's probably the best. Because I don't
Sure.
want to get into that shit show, or but
Right.
but we
Yeah.
have it, and that's okay. But I do know that I have people that I've done business with that have turned into some of my best friends,
Right. Right.
and
No.
I'm thankful for it. So just look at the opportunities. If you're
Okay.
better, don't sweat it. Don't worry about that you have to go out and talk to people you know. Just talk to your strangers that you're really good at, with the idea that you want to build a relationship with them, so you can
Okay.
actually make them someone you know.
Okay. And then they go on the list.
Yep.
All right. Perfect.
All right. So that was 3 guys. Look forward to getting together on Friday. If you haven't already done so, make sure you schedule your time with me to go through your business plan. And I can tell you that the call today that I had with Michelle with her business plan, she wasn't finished. And I don't think she's finished now, but she has more clarity and be able to go through. So I know you guys are all very similar to Michelle, because I was there and I was like, that's the first time I did it. You hit a little hurdle and you kind of stop. And then you don't really think, oh, I can't call Mike and go through this because I don't have it done. Call me and let me help you through it. I don't expect you to have it done. This is a completely different mind shift and mindset for you guys than where you've been previously in your business. Let's work through it and go through it, because all we need to do is make a move forward, and one small step consistently gets us to where we want to go. All right, guys.
It really
I'm
was.
here for you. I hope I made an impact on your day today. See you on Friday, and let me know if there's anything I can do for you in the meantime.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.